Let's get ready to rumble. Here we are. I mean, sorry we are late, people. 10, 15 minutes late, but there's chairs getting thrown around in the TOFFEE BLUECAST room. I've got a lot of Everton fans on this, and they're angry, and some are happy, some are positive. We've got Everton fans of all emotions tonight, and I've got everyone on. Not everyone, but as many as I can, and I'll get more on if you send a link on my Twitter. I'll let you on and have you say, DM me, send your link and come on. Don't troll it though. But let's get them on. Let's introduce them. You know them. Paul Caswell, he's in the building. You've got School of Science. Here he is. School of Science, you know him. He's looking for a new drone. Here he is. School of Science.
Oh, how's it going, guys?
Oh. And then you have Jamie. He's known as Jamie, but he might be Incredible Hulk tonight. Jamie, the Hulk, is not happy. Jamie is in the building as well. And by the way, you in the comments are as important as us. We need you in the comments. We need loads on the stream because we've got loads on live, but we want loads in the comments because this is a TOFFEE BLUECAST get-together now. We've got... Should I pinch myself? Was this real news today? Because we've been saying all along on TOFFEE BLUECAST that it'll just be a slap on the wrist and a fine. But out of the blue, says on news on my phone, my partner goes to me, "Can you see this?" I goes, "What?" She goes, "Everton, 10-point deduction." I was like, no way. No way. And we're all going to have our say, and we're going to put your comments up as well and say what we think on your comments and get the comments on the screen. If you are on Twitter, click the link on Twitter. The link's there above. I'll put it on. Click the link. Come over. Drop your comments. Emma's here. Fucking Toffees. And then you've got Stephanie here. You've got loads here. Drop your comments now. Interact with us, and we'll have a show. Right, I'm going to pass the parcel here. Just quick sentence. Paul, how are you feeling on this?
This week has been a really hard week for me in work. Absolutely battered in work. Absolute nightmare. Boss has been a nightmare. Kids nightmare. It's just got to Friday, and I thought, thank God it's Friday. Went for my dinner, and then my phone just went off manic, and found out about the 10 points. I thought then when I was in Co-op getting my meal deal, I thought things can't go any worse. So I'll buy a lottery ticket. I got to the till and the lottery ticket machine was broken.
You are not winning the lottery being an Everton fan. Absolutely no chance. Everton, aren't we? That's Paul. Paul Caswell, how are you feeling?
Disappointed, sense of injustice. Not that we were found guilty, because I think we all know that we are, but the heavy deduction, and unjust deduction as well. Very short phrase of how I've been feeling throughout the day, really.
I think a lot are feeling the same. We're just going to give a quick sentence, and then Paul and Jamie will read out what's happened. But I just want emotion straight away before we even read it out. Jamie, quick sentence, how are you feeling?
Fuck the Premier League. Next.
I thought that would come from you. And Luke, School of Science, how are you feeling?
Well, all I can say is I don't want you getting demonetized, so I am here da La Liga.
I don't know that language, but I presume that's something that would get me demonetized. Right. I'm mixed emotions, to be fair. I'm always take it on. I'll take it on. Like Paul Caswell said, I'll take it on. But it's a joke. It is a joke. Right, let's get it on now. Keep interacting in the comments on what you think. Jamie or Paul Caswell, take it away. What's happened? Go on.
Go on, Paul.
So, is it me or Paul Cass?
Yeah.
Paul Foss.
So, as soon as I found out, I got the documents together, which was the Commission's report. A very, very long read with many reasons why we've been docked the points, but also lots of reasons that we gave to why it shouldn't. We shouldn't have got a punishment like we have today. So the general gist of it is that the commission have said that in 2021-22 season, we had losses of 124.5 million, which is over the threshold by 19.5 million. And Everton accepted that we were in breach of the rules. However, they also said that the calculation of finances was only 9.7. So what happens in these kind of situations is that you have the threshold, but you're also given a grace of I think it said 15 million. If you go over that, then it's greater consequences. Hence why we're saying that it's 9.7 million, and the Premier League was saying that it was 19.5 million. So that's where your discrepancy is. Our case is not that we didn't breach any rules. It is that there were many reasons why we went over that threshold, and lots of the reasons were out of our control. I'll go through some of the reasons in a little bit, but it's going to be things like the sponsorship deal with USM, and therefore the war with Ukraine, and so that deal goes through. COVID we put down as a reason as well. That made it harder to sell players, and that is one of the main things that comes across, is that we said that we could buy these players, we could do this thing, but it was all on the idea that we would be able to sell players, and we didn't sell them. And so that's why one of our reasons for not reaching that or staying under that threshold is because we couldn't sell those players. So there's lots of other reasons, but at the start, that's the general gist. Jamie?
Yeah, it then goes into a load of fucking waffle. Sorry, a load of waffle. Where we explain specific situations, as in player X being accused of how can I put this in a nice way? Accused of obviously contacting a minor as such. We all know who it is. We all know what happens. We also put into the fact that, you know, his peak, I think he was 28 at that time. You know, we were looking to recoup, maybe we could have recouped maybe 20 million for him, blah, 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 such and such. In the end, we terminated his contract in the end. We got no sell-on value from him. We couldn't sell him. That was through no fault of our own. Unfortunately, we also chose against suing player X for breach of contract also, which we were well within our rights to do. But we as a club looked at the bigger picture and thought maybe we shouldn't be that sort of club, and maybe we should just stick by the player who stuck by us for so long. So that was another reason as to why, which I'll give my opinion on at a later date. We also put in the fact that Spurs came in for Richarlison and bought him for 20 million under what we actually had him priced at, of where we wanted to sell him at. Knowing the position that we're in, Spurs took full advantage of that situation, and we could only take the money that was offered on the table to us. There was another one that I wanted to mention. It's gone from my head, but I've got I'll find it again. But yeah, we give a number of reasons as to where the shortfalls come from. Obviously, Paul's touched on the 10 million a year stadium naming rights as well from USM, Finch Farm as well. We lost all that because we cut ties with Uzmov once again as a club, rightly so, based on what had happened and his links to Putin and Russia and everything as such. It was also a case of a lot of clubs when COVID happened, and the reason why we used COVID as not an excuse but as a reason to try and make them understand a little bit. Do you know we're the only Premier League club in the whole of the league that didn't furlough a single member of staff? So we paid every member of staff. We paid full wages during the whole of COVID, and we're the only team to do so in the league. So we're the only team that can't write that off on our losses because we had to furlough members of staff. Just wanted to put that out. I don't think that's a common known fact, but I thought it was very prevalent when it comes to the issue of COVID. A lot of it, obviously, when you look at the finances, when it comes to the stadium finances, that is in there. I just think it was very, very poor planning from certain members of staff that we had at the time. I don't know if anyone's seen the information that's been leaked. Also, that the two that left earlier on this year also did not give evidence to the panel. So Denise Barrett, Baxendale and Ingalls did not give any evidence to the panel to help Everton. Don't know if anyone else knows that.
That's interesting. That's interesting. It doesn't surprise me either. I think that's a lot of this stuff I'm just taking in because what we do is we just save everything we've got to say and we come on and we say it to each other on the channel and we get you involved in the comments. The Blues said about the sponsors then as well. I'm going to be like I'm not going to be all Everton here. I'm not going to lick my own club's arse. I'm going to try and say what I think. And do you think that we tried to blag a lot of things with this? Do you think we was in the shit and we've tried to palm a lot of stuff off with COVID?
No. The thing is, Dan, when we realised we were breaching the financial fair play, we've actually gone to the Premier League and got one of their associates to work alongside us. So if we are in breach of the financial fair play, so are they. They've signed off our accounts every year. So either that person needs sacking or the Premier League needs a sanction against them also. So we've done everything we can to stay within the rules. If you got something
to hide, you wouldn't be working with them, would you?
No. We realised, we were like, hold on, we could be outside of the rules here. We've got someone to sign off our accounts every year, which they have done. And then all of a sudden we've breached. So they're equally in the wrong for saying, yes, you can buy that player. No, you can't. But we've gone to them before we've made them. That's why transfers have been painfully long over the past 2 summers, because we've tried to stay within the rules. We'd have actually been better just hiding everything from the Premier League, because we'd have had to try and get their accounts, like City just haven't published their accounts to them.
But this is the big thing that a lot of people are saying on Twitter now, is that you're getting a bad financial situation through not having a new stadium. So we've tried to get a new stadium to help us with this. So we've done the right thing. We've tried to get a new stadium that's going to put us in a better financial situation. And they've not helped us whatsoever. Like, they're literally stopping it from happening. And they've not helped us whatsoever. And Jamie, you said a few things. You mentioned the Sigurdsson thing. He was still worth 20 million, Sigurdsson was. Still worth 20 million.
You shouldn't have named him.
Whatever, but he was still worth 20 million though, wasn't he? And that is a good... These reasons are reasons that you've just said. They are reasons that they probably should have understood that wasn't our fault.
The thing is, sorry, I was just going to say that the thing there is that from the Commission's point of view, that was not the fault of anyone else. It was just one of those factors that you have to deal with, basically. It's basically your player has done this and this situation's happened. So it doesn't affect how much you're paying into your transfers or anything else. You know, that situation's happened. So that you've just got to deal with it. That is the word. That is not obviously word for word in here, but that's the general gist from the Commission's report.
And Paul will back me up on this because I know Paul's read the whole. I don't know if anyone else has read the whole report, but if anyone thinks Everton are waffling and Everton have tried to get out of this, there's 41 pages I've read twice now on this report. You read that report and you read all 41 pages of it and tell me Everton have tried to wriggle their way out of that. All I've read in that is Everton going, yep, we hold our hands up. Our calculation is this. Your calculation is this. The reason as to why are, I think it's something like the 6 factors or 5 factors that we put on. And that's like COVID, the war in Ukraine, player X, player Y, and things like that. We've put 5 factors, which are mitigating factors as to where we believe even if just 1 or 2 of those had gone in our favour, this wouldn't be an issue. And I'd understand completely we had this discussion, Dan and Paul, we had it ourselves about a points deduction. And I said, if it was a points deduction, it would be more prevalent to be something between 3 and 6 points. Because the one thing that I can't get past is the reasons that we've breached has very, very little to do with the actual playing side of Everton Football Club. It's finances that tie into a lot of other things. How can you be penalised 10 points on the playing side of things 2 years after a breach? I can't get my head around it personally. And for anyone that thinks Everton are waffling, feel free to message me on Twitter or Paul on Twitter. I'll more than happily forward this document on to yourselves and you can give it a read. I think Everton
we've now got after they've announced this, the 10-point deduction, you've got the next thing that they come out and said was that Leicester, all the teams that got relegated basically are trying to sue us now.
That's loads of bollocks, mate. It's loads of bollocks, mate. That's just Matt Hughes talking out of his fucking arse again.
Wanker. They can't come after us anyway. They can't come after us anyway because it says in the document that the breach didn't affect the playing standard or it didn't affect
advantage.
Yeah, no, there was no sporting advantage we got from it because the breach is tied into a number of things that wasn't directly involved in the actual playing side of things. So if they want to do that, go ahead. But their problem that they've got, and this is what I said to you both. I said to you both when we had this discussion, it's Pandora's box. If they open Pandora's box and they start fucking shelling out things they shouldn't be shelling out, it's going to bring a shitstorm to their door, and it's going to. That you can't sue us for us going, right, these are the reasons why we breached. No one's telling me that 10 million a year for 20 years, which is what you look at the 200 million of USM for naming rights to a stadium. If Russia hadn't attacked Ukraine, we wouldn't be in this fucking situation. We wouldn't. It's as simple as that, and that's just one of the mitigating factors that we used. And I implore anyone to deny the fact that that isn't the case.
So it's Russia's fault. Busy here, guys. It's Russia's fault for all this.
It's Usmanov, the oligarch fat bastard.
No, but it's got me thinking now that I think they should have just, because the Premier League wasn't monitoring things properly, they should have just written everything off and put in a new system where you can't get away with stuff. Because you look at clubs like Chelsea, they went and sold Kante to these Saudi clubs. They've sold a lot of players. A lot of these clubs like Chelsea and Liverpool have sold players for big money to these Saudi clubs to get them out of financial mess. That's corruption. Those players are not worth that money, and the Premier League know that they're not worth that money. So how can they get away with that?
We did sell Damari Gray for a good 10 million more than he's worth. Just saying.
Yeah, but I suppose.
Yeah, but let's be honest. A lot of these players have done that.
We had to join in.
A lot of these teams should say.
It just seems that, like you say, how can they? I think they just should have. For me, I think they should have just cut it off and started fresh, because now they've got to go back to Man City 101. I don't know if we breach one thing, say, or two, and we've got 12 points. Man City on 101 charges. They're in big trouble. I don't think they can even stay up without how much deduction they should get.
I think it's meant to be something like a 1,550 point deduction based on what the evidence that they've used on us against them. But the thing is, they won't do that. They would probably do 20 at worst.
The amount of money they make off your Man City and your Chelsea, do you really think they're going to drop them down 4, 5, 6 leagues to make a point?
It'd be a £5 million fine at the worst.
Exactly.
And then they will give them the title.
Or they'll get a transfer embargo for 2-3 years. I'm sorry, their fucking bench could beat 19 out of 20 teams in the fucking league anyway, and the 20th team is their own. Like, fuck off.
Blues
honestly.
have said Sardi's got stakes. Yeah, but Sardi has got stakes. You look at that,
Mate,
it just shows how corrupt it is because who was it? The Newcastle centre midfielder got taken out for gambling, and then Newcastle straight away could get the Wolves lad on loan.
Mm-hmm. I mean, in all honesty, that's a situation where if this, let's say the shoe was on the other foot, let's say for argument's sake, Idrissa Gana Gueye, for example, he was given a 18-month ban because it had been found he was involved in match fixing. We wouldn't be given that sort of generosity. They'd be saying, no, because your player's done this, consider this like a red card in succession. You can't go and replace him until the transfer window opens. And even then, they'd probably still... Example. Oh, when he got put in prison for hitting someone.
No special treatment there, mate. It's honestly... No, we don't get that. We don't get that.
This is the thing. That was pretty much on the cusp of my sort of knowledge base with Everton. And I've seen the footage myself, and it was bloody nothing. I mean, nowadays, you see much worse. I mean, I've seen 10 times worse. I've had worse in bloody Sunday League games.
Mate, the Scottish FA fucked themselves, mate, because he never played for Scotland again after that. They ruined his international. He could have had one hell of an international career, Duncan Ferguson. And, you know, all credit to him for standing by his morals, mate. He never played for Scotland again after they didn't back him there. I don't blame the man. Fuck the Scottish FA. Fuck the Premier League. Cunts.
Well, Everton now, for people that are listening as well, like if they don't know, I presume they will know. Everton set up a GoFundMe with the flag company at one of the Everton accounts on Twitter, and it raised £2,000 in an hour for Everton. It's just an Everton thing.
Now, mate.
Is it? Yeah,
over 4 now. The 1878s.
It's not something we should have to do, but it just shows how powerful we are. So on the next game, there's going to be corruption all around the stadium because, as we're saying, we would have accepted that we probably should have got maybe a 3-point deduction max. I thought just fine. I couldn't even see 3 points. If we've worked with
fine max.
Yeah, fine max. Exactly. This is, and I've seen some accounts where they say
sporting advantage made.
The 1878 Atmosphere Fund is at 17,700.
Fucking hell! Exactly. It says it all, man.
There's a lot. I can even tell you the most that people have donated. Well, should we just pay
the 19 million off instead? Should we just...
Yeah.
Shout out to the 1878s, man.
It's like this.
We'll make a deal with Mashiri. We'll just say to Mashiri, if Mashiri, you give us fans the club, we'll pay the 19 million off. Us fans will pay it off, but we own the football club after that. So you pass the football club to the fans, and we'll pay the 19. I think it's fantastic that we're doing that, Flags, and we've got to make a statement and we've got to unite and stand up for ourselves. But I just think all that money just through the Premier League taking the piss out of us, we shouldn't have to be doing that. We are, and we will. But why should...
It won't surprise me if the game's not shown on Sky now.
So yeah, it has been said.
Mate,
I dare them. I fucking dare them.
We should fuck completely everything off that they require us to do before a game. Fuck the handshake. Fuck playing the song.
As a fan base, what we need to do, the second that Premier League anthem starts, instead of us booing or doing anything like that, we just need to start chanting the league's corrupt. I don't know, fuck the league.
I think all of our could play naked so they can't actually show it on Match of the Day.
No. It'll get shown on
I'll be watching. I'll be watching.
Man, maybe that's not a good idea, but we definitely need to stand, because you've got that frigging Mort guy, the one that used to support Forest Sports Man U. He knew this was going to happen, and a lot did know this was going to happen. I'll tell you what they did.
That Mark Goldbridge.
Right.
Yeah.
They gave us Goldberg. They gave us they put out that we're getting a 12-point deduction, so we all heard the news that we're going to get a 12-point deduction, and then it had to go to someone else, and they wanted to see the reaction first, and there's been a massive reaction that we should never get a 12-point deduction, so they've kind of put that in our faces, tested the water, and then gone and gave us just a random figure of 10 with no meaning. Now, we will move on to say how we feel this is going to affect us on the channel now. And you in the comments will put your comments up. There's just so many on, but we will keep putting your comments up. You really do matter. Keep your comments coming. But we will say how we think it's going to affect us. But just like that Mark guy, the Goldberg guy, he said you should just accept this because you're in a good position in the league. You're playing well and you should accept it. Why should we accept something that is wrong just because we're in a situation where we could accept it? Like, rules are rules. Like, it's bullshit. Because what about if we wasn't? That's the way you've got to think. Imagine if we was in, which could have happened. Luckily, Dyche has got us decent. But imagine if we was on 3 points and it put us in minus now and put us 100% go down. You've got to think that we are in that situation. Go on, Jamie, go.
Before we move on, Paul knows what's coming here because I shared this with Paul before the stream. A lot of people won't know this, but obviously me and Paul went through the documents. I don't know whether my camera is going to pick it up very well, but there's 3 names at the top of the document. Oh, there you go. It does pick it up. Okay. It says, here we go. Someone, Blues, you little bastard. Get that off the screen. Get that off the screen. Get that off the screen. So the first name is Mr. David Phillips. Got to give him a joint effort. Assist. Got to give him an assist. Is on Alex Greenwood. And then there's a name that struck a chord with me by the name of Mr. Nick Igo. Now, I don't know if many people know who Nick Igo is. Thanks to Blues. So I recognise that name for some reason, and I don't know why it stuck with me. I've sent Paul that you bastard Blues. I sent Paul a nice little screenshot. Again, I don't know whether this is going to pick this up very well. It's going to pick it up.
Can't see it that time, but go on, read it out. Go for it.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway,
I can do it for
says
you.
Here.
West Ham come clean. In January 2007, Liverpool set the wheels in motion for a deal to sign Mascherano, but they noticed irregularities in his ownership, which they knew would not get past the Premier League. Nick Igo, the financial director, told Egert Magnusson, who fronted the takeover, to send the contracts of both Tevez and Mascherano to the Premier League.
Right. Well said. Thank you very much.
Something like that.
So, Nick Igo, the finance director of West Ham Football Club during the Carlos Tevez and Mascherano saga, which Sheffield United were awarded £30 million in compensation because of the illegal signings of both of them. Nick Igo was the finance director of West Ham at the time. Could someone tell me this is not corruption, and how a man who has been found guilty of that and again, Paul is my witness to this. I have 16 screenshots, because I got bored after 16, of how many positions that man has held at West Ham Football Club. Let me just get my gallery up here, because I'll go through them if people think I'm taking the piss, because I'm seriously not.
Are you trying to say that he was really hammering his CV up there?
No.
Oh,
He's literally had. He's literally had. If you see here on my screenshots, apart from the corrupt one, all these screenshots here, they are literally all the positions he's held on Company's House at West Ham United. And oddly enough, he resigned on the 7th of December 2012, and that was shortly after the issue with the Tevez and the Mascherano signings was brought to light. I got bored at 16, so there are more on there. But that's 16 separate positions he held at West Ham Football Club that he was then found guilty of being implicit for signing 2 illegal players that then kept them up in the Premier League. I don't remember them getting a points deduction, and I don't understand how a man of that stature is impartial or independent, and how you can have ties such as that to West Ham Football Club and be put on an impartial an independent review board for something as such as this, whether he's a financial, fucking hell, what's the name? Mashiri's a fucking financial director or whatever. Fucking, I wouldn't trust him to pet me dog, let alone fucking look on my finances. So I'm sorry, I don't care what his title is, what fucking profession he's in. That is not impartial. That is not independent. That man should have been nowhere near that board. And I don't know why. Honestly, I do not know why Everton are not shouting from the fucking rooftops and demanding a response from the Premier League of, fair enough, it may have been an independent and impartial board that you thought it was, but it fucking isn't, because it's somebody that used to answer to the Premier League before. And if it was independent and impartial, then why the fuck did the Premier League come out and stir the pot a week before, explaining they wanted Everton to have the full fucking force of the law and have a full 12-point deduction for the breach? And because if you want impartial and you want independent, Premier League shouldn't have said fuck all. It's got nothing to do with them. They've said their bit. It's now for the fucking panel to decide what goes forward. And I am more than certain, and I believe with every inch of my fucking soul, that had a huge part in the reason as to why we've got a 10-point deduction. It's unfair. It's unjust. The Premier League corrupt. I'm going to stop now because my fucking blood's boiling and I could literally kick a baby in a pram in front of a bus right now.
Can I just pick out as well? I have tried to find out how the people on the independent commission were selected. I can't find it. If anyone does, miraculously manage to find that out, then please let me know. But this is on point 135. This is the report as well. I just want to pick out this because it's not just our case that is linked, and it's not just the West Ham, Sheffield United, for example. Premier League. This has gone on all the way through the Premier League's inception. Just over 30 years ago. And so there's been plenty of times when clubs have been given a financial sanction instead of points. There's only actually looking at a stat earlier on today. There's only 5 or 6 clubs, including ourselves, who have had a points deduction for various things. So, for example, Portsmouth going into administration. The lowest one was 2 points, which was Man U and Arsenal having a brawl, and they got 2 points taken off them. But we're not even just talking Premier League. That's in the top flight. That's in the top flight. So they don't do it very often. I'm just going to pick out point 135 from the document now. I'm just going to read out. It's quite large, so it starts off with, we have no doubt that the circumstances of this case are such that only a sporting sanction in the form of a points deduction would be appropriate. And then it goes on, a financial penalty for a club that enjoys the support of a wealthy owner is not a sufficient penalty. We agree with the Premier League that the requirements of punishment, deterrent, vindication of compliant clubs, and the protection of the integrity of the sport demand a sporting sanction in the form of a points deduction. The issue is not the form of sanction, but its extent. So all of the previous cases, including the Super League extravaganza, none of those people got points. But suddenly, because of our situation, which doesn't seem to be as high as many other clubs in a similar rich owner situation, we're getting 10 points. So, like James said, that Pandora's box has not just been opened. If it's to be just, that it's been exploded, because any team who's beyond those that amount of threshold should surely be getting far more than us. And 10 points is the highest points deduction
ever
of all time in the football league.
I mean, Pompey because he went into administration while he was in the Premier League, and he got 9 points deducted.
9 points, yeah.
You completely fail as a company, and you get punished less than breaking a single rule
by £4.5 million quid. 4.5 million quid over their grace period. 4.5 million fucking quid equivalates to fucking 10 points. So every £450,000 we spent over their 50 million grace is a fucking point. Kiss my fat fucking overweight ass. Kiss it.
The thing is, with the Premier League, they're saying that they're trying this has obviously come because the independent review is coming to question, but it actually questions their integrity more now and suggests that an independent review body is needed because they can't give two separate clubs who have breached a rule, whichever rule it is, the same punishment. Let's say, for example, they'd have come out at the start of the year, got all the owners. If you were the Premier League and you were saying, right, we're looking at an independent review, we need to show that we're fair and can manage ourselves. You'd have got all the owners together and said, right, look, we know that in the past, when rules have been breached, everyone's got a fine, but we are going to put a set of rules down that we all need to agree to and have a united front. So if they'd have done that at the start of the season, say, if you breach financial fair play once to 10 times, then you get 10-point deduction. 10 to 30 times, you get a 25-point deduction. 100 times more, you get a 50-point deduction. You'd be like, yeah, them in the past have only got a fine, but they did come out at the start and every club signed up to it. But they've not. They've just, it's like, right, yeah, Everton have said they've breached it. What shall we do? Oh, really? The pub closes in 10 minutes. Just throw a dart at the dartboard and whatever it lands on will give them that point deduction. They just literally, there's nothing to go off. No, even Liverpool fans and other fans are saying, where's this magic up from? 10-point deduction. No one knows. Even they can't justify it. They have not said, they said why they've given a point deduction, but they've not said why they've given a 10-point deduction. They can't even justify their own decision.
The justification for their decision is because they have been ruled by the British government that they cannot be trusted to govern their own sport. They are now trying to use Everton Football Club as an example to show that they are strong, they can bring down the force of what they believe is right and wrong, and that they can rule their own sport. They have done nothing but show their incompetence and their fucking levels of corruption, and why we need an independent body for things such as this that has nothing to do with the sport, that has no financial gain to come out of it. And that's why they've done it, mate. And do you know what? People can call me a fucking, people can call me a fucking whatever they're called. You know, those people who believe in them fucking psycho stories.
Yeah, Jamie, here's a comment for you.
What do you know what? I'll be honest. The only statement that I really paid attention to was Everton Football Club's. I've not looked at the Altogether Now statement. The only other one I looked at was the Football Supporters Association. Theirs was about 3 paragraphs, and theirs was absolutely shite. It was no pro or con for either, which I'm really disappointed at their response. However, you look at Jamie Carragher, who I love to hate, and I think a lot of Evertonians love to hate. First person to come out and say that it was unjust. All credit to Jamie Carragher. He's got a very, very big platform that he uses, some for good, some for bad. First person that I've seen come out and say that it was ridiculous and it shouldn't happen. And apart from your little skanks on Twitter, you little Astrid Wet, hope you get chlamydia, you horrible little bitch, that are just trying to get a rise out of Everton fans. I mean, I haven't really seen. Sorry, so I'm just not in the mood tonight, boys. I apologise, and I did apologise beforehand
as well. Is he did mention about the top 6 trying to break away from the Super League,
mate. And even Paul Merson as well.
Yeah, but you say this like even Carragher said this. Someone said this. Everyone's saying it. It's just obvious. It's like I'm not impressed with Carragher coming out and saying what everybody knows. Everybody. And I'm telling you, I could ask everybody would be shocked with this point deduction that we've got. And they've set the bar so high now because giving us 10 when they've got to go and do Chelsea now and they've got to go and do Man City, they put themselves in big trouble. I thought they would have just gone low on us to make their job easier because
they've tried to look strong, yet all it's done is raise more questions. So like I said, if you're trying to show the government that you don't need to be independently regulated, you will be fair across the board. Or if you're going to change the rules and the persecution of clubs, you would set out a ground set of rules agreed by everyone to say things aren't working fairly, fines in the past haven't worked, so we're going to up our game a bit, and this is what we're going to do. Can we all sign on? So when the government come to us and say we need an independent review, we have all 20 club owners saying, no, we're happy with how the Premier League are running it. But they've got diversions from fans, owners, managers. No one knows what they're doing. They've just made themselves look worse. They're trying to show this strong hand, and it's just made them look worse because it's like, hold on, you give one a fine and then another 10-point deduction. Nah, we need someone else in there who's going to be fair and impartial, because it's not. It's not been.
No, the thing. Oh, sorry, go on, Luke. You go. Sorry.
Just a very quick one. I was just doing a little bit of the scouring, and then you know how a lot of people now, while this was all going on and everything was still up in the air on why we were getting investigated, and everyone was saying, "Oh, that was because you've spent X amount over the course of 5 years." Here's one for you right now. Let's use Chelsea for example. Over the course of the past 5 years, so from the let's say from the 1920 season, they've made a loss of 673 million. So they were in profits of 95 million in the 1920 season. They lost 162 million in the 2021 season. They gained a profit of 26 in the 21-22 season. The 22-23 season, they made a loss of 464 million. And right now, in this season, it's a negative of 168 million. And I've not heard an absolute dicky beard. It's only because they came clean and said, we've noticed a few discrepancies when Roman Abramovich was in. So why aren't we seeing them get rigged over the fucking calls?
Do you want to know why?
Exactly.
Because we've got one thing against us that they could rush through as quickly as possible and go, right, this is the sanction, this is what you're getting, this is what we're going to show the government, this is what we're going to show the rest of the clubs in the league, this is what's going to happen going forward. You're not telling me they can go for 115 offences that Man City have done so quickly. Not a chance. Do you know what? I'd be so surprised if Chelsea don't have more breaches than Man City. I'll be stunned if they've not got more. I think it'd be an
even bigger variety as well. It wouldn't be just like bribes and like money laundering almost. It'll be all sorts of mad little things. But in regards to Emma's comments, she said on United $1 billion in debt. At the moment right now, they're not, according to this, over the course of the 5 years, they're not $1 billion in debt, but they are 608 million in debt. And that's from the 1920 season, they've lost 133 million. In the 2021 season, they lost 54 million. 21-22 season, they lost 94 million. 22-23 season, they lost 196 million. And the 23-24 season, they lost 129 million. So they've went 4 to 5 seasons on the bounce with massive losses. And we haven't heard a wink or a whisper.
It's a bit different with United, though, isn't it? Because they're a public traded company.
Yeah, they're the golden goose. Well, they're another one of the fucking Sinister Six. I mean, the only one out of them, the Sinister Six, who aren't in massive trouble, funnily enough, is the other lot from Anfield. They've basically they're 200 million in the hole. I mean, Everton themselves, they're all the way down in 18th at the moment with a negative 27. The only ones who've made a profit so far is Brighton. 76 million.
Like we're getting punished for being honest and showing our hand to the Premier League and trying to work with it.
Yeah,
that's what I feel like.
People have said
and hid everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's as people have been saying as of late. We shouldn't have been honest. We should have just said to them, "Oh, sorry, you want us to sell Richarlison to balance our books? What if we don't? Okay, so if we don't, you're going to find us X amount of points. Okay, sounds. We keep Richarlison. That's probably going to cover our points and then some. So swivel on it."
Yeah.
We should have just fucking stood our ground and told them to basically go to tell them which direction, whether they want to go clockwise or counterclockwise when they go for a little spin.
Well, like you've just said, how many points did you say you get for administration?
9.
You can get up to 12. You can get up to 12 for administration.
You get 9. You can get up to 12 for administration. So we could have literally have done that, not paid all the crap we wanted to, hid loads of money. Hid all the money, done everything dodgy, Yeah,
because
not done anything. Administration done everything dodgy like other clubs do it. Not work with the Premier League. We could have just like kept away from them, done it dodgy like other clubs do, and we could have completely done them over. The FFP for me is there to help clubs.
Oh, it's to help the top six. It doesn't help us.
Yeah, thank you. That's the right.
But the thing is, as well,
it should be. But why do the top six need? You just said, Luke, that when you talk about Man United and all that lot, they'll be fine because they've got this, that, and the other. Surely the FFP is there to help the clubs at the bottom, like that are struggling financially.
No,
that's what it's supposed to be there for, though, isn't it?
I think it's one of them. Its initial purpose was to do that, but it's become twisted and warped so that the bigger teams have been able to benefit from it rather than the smaller teams having a bit more of a level playing field. But the thing is, as well, when it comes to money in football, a lot of these clubs don't really have a penny. They don't have a physical penny associated with the club. It's all numbers in books. That's it, just getting shuffled around. So, in all honesty, it's basically you might as well just get monopoly money and go, I want Haaland. Here you go.
Yeah. And the thing is as well, I'm just going to pick out one or two more bits of the report because what we're saying there is true. The extent of the money that other clubs are using is beyond the scale of most of the rest of the teams in the league or most of the different teams in Europe, to be honest, and most of the world. But the thing is that we're not saying that we didn't breach anything. Everton aren't saying that, but what they're saying is that there were mitigating circumstances, like the war in Ukraine, like others that we'll have a little chat with in a second. But the extent that we've breached is nowhere near needing 10-point deduction. So, for example, this is just one or two of the things that are from the report. So, the Commission and the Premier League were saying that the position that we found ourselves was of our own making. I accept some of that, to be fair, because our business dealings have not been good, and we've all said that over the last 8 years, if you like, if it's that long. And the deals that we used to come up with were shocking. Do you know what I mean? We were overpaying for players because as soon as Shiri came in, all the other clubs thought, oh, brilliant, we can throw another 20, 30 million on top of the price of this actual player they want. And also as well, teams who were going to buy players didn't buy them for those extortionate amounts. They were still actually buying them for less. And then when the war in Ukraine started, and by Everton's argument, COVID-19 as well, prices of players and possibilities of selling players and offers that come in were diminished. And so that's what they're saying was a mitigating factor. But they also say about us that our failure to comply was the result of Everton irresponsibly taking a chance that things would turn out positively. Now, you could argue that they would have, but for these reasons that occurred. Our argument is that wasn't our fault. So you should give us a little bit of grace to deal with this situation. But we haven't been given any. And one of the reasons is that the Commission don't believe that they were mitigating circumstances. It was our fault that it happened. Also, as well, in the dealings up before the hearing and dealing with the Premier League and everything else, they do say they're very careful because they'd say we're not accusing Everton of dishonesty. And they say that about 2 or 3 times in the document. We are not saying that Everton were dishonest. However, what they do say is that Everton were less than frank in its dealings with the Premier League over the stadium interest issue, for example. The reality is that Everton failed to manage its finances so as to operate within the generous threshold of 105 million. Its mismanagement led to that threshold being exceeded by 19.5. We say that it was 9.5, I think
9.7.
we said overall, 9.7. And they don't accept that. So we say that the finances that they said was 19.5 over. We don't agree with that. We think it was less. And we also say that the reason we didn't get the sales, we didn't get the sponsorship from the stadium, we didn't get this, we didn't get that, was because of all of these different circumstances. Now, whether you agree with the independent commission and the Premier League, or you agree from our side, that's what it boils down to. We say that these things stopped us from getting that money in, and if we got that money in, we would have been below. And they say, well, those reasons don't matter. It's your fault. So the Sigurdsson thing, Ukraine, COVID-19, selling players, and loss of performance as well, stadium, and all of those, every single bit of that includes money. So one of our predicted finishing positions when we were sort of going through this was 6th, and actually we finished 16th. So straight away, there's another few million on top of that. So we're saying all of these facts are because of the things out of our control. Don't be shitty on us. And they've said, well, no, we will be, because it doesn't matter. You've just got to deal with it and live with it. And that's where we are right now.
I mean, when we bought Ancelotti, it was obvious. Yeah, it was obviously with the intention of getting into Europe, wasn't it? If you get a man of that caliber, you're looking to get into Europe. But the thing is, though, with Sigurdsson, the FA told us
he couldn't play.
That he can play. So the fact that he can't play or train with us means that his value automatically drops. Let's say if we'd have done, like, why did they not say the same to Arsenal about Partey and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So let's say Sigurdsson, who hadn't been charged, I mean, I don't think Everton would have played him anyway. I think the way our board are, they probably would have put him on suspended leave or something. But let's say they didn't, and he played, and then the charges were dropped the year after. People say, oh, we'd have got 20 million for Sigurdsson. He was one of our leading assisters. He's a great penalty taker. That's 30 million straight away, irrespective of who the player is. Usmanov, because of his ties with Russia, that was a government-sanctioned directive. We were following the laws of the land. So we've lost 40 million in one season because of rules that we're just abiding by. Yet City, and I'll keep going back to them, they've simply not published. Not only have they not contacted the Premier League, they've not even published their accounts. They've not even sent them off to him. He's not even in the same bracket. He's just ridiculous. We wouldn't have been in profit, but we'd have been about 10, 15 million pounds saved, and I think that's being fair. That's being very generous.
On the Sigurdsson thing, can I ask, when a certain Adam Johnson was subsequently accused and then charged, how much did his stock go down, and how much was his worth? How much did that decrease at that point?
Good question.
I don't see how that was a bad thing for the club. He was at Sunderland, was he, at the time? Yeah. I don't see how Sunderland totally distanced themselves from him. He was then subsequently charged. They lost out on that money. Where's the difference? Obviously, the only difference is Sigurdsson was never actually acquitted, and he was never actually charged. It was all due to a lack of actual solid concrete evidence, wasn't it? So it's a case of, you're not telling me that once that had come out, and obviously it was very quickly known who it was and who the actual player was, you're not telling me that didn't affect his market value at that point. You can't tell me it didn't. There's no way he could have played in this country again. Same way as Mason Greenwood will never
we just sold Iwobi for 20 million or whatever. We just sold Iwobi for. It's like the points that you put on, Paul. You put it on Kraken as well, and you put it on writing for people to understand. Some, like me, don't understand it all completely. I haven't read all the documents that you've read, so Kraken for pulling out those little points there, because it puts it in your mind. But like you say, the Uzunov definitely affected us financially. The The war in Ukraine did, COVID did, the Sigurdsson thing did, and he ended up going to a team and he didn't get prosecuted and we didn't get nothing for him. How could you say all of those things?
And we had to pay his
Wouldn't
wages.
have come up to 19 million. Wouldn't have come up to that amount. Like, I generally, you cannot say that all the things that have gone on there, that's out of our hand. We didn't plan for a war to happen. No, we didn't. That's out of our hand. How can they say that's in our hand? The COVID, didn't know it was going to happen. Sigurdsson, like you said, he probably could have played. He didn't even end up getting done. Nothing against him. Probably could have played. Could have been sold.
Involved.
Yeah, exactly. So Sigurdsson is playing football now somewhere. We didn't get nothing for him, and he didn't play, and we could have got relegated for him not playing. So,
this is the bit that's really sticking for me, is that the commission in its report is just saying, well, deal with it.
The wording is horrendous, Paul.
They're saying, yes, there was the war. Yes, there was player X and player Y and this, that, and the other. But it doesn't matter, because you should have been in control of your finances, and we don't think that those things. We don't think that those things are reasons why you didn't. Why you could have gone over the threshold. They basically don't. They didn't trust us in the process. And in that bit where they said that we weren't frank with the Premier League, they're in between the lines. They're saying that we were underhanded. He said it 2 or 3 times that we're not being accused of dishonesty, but actually that's the hidden sort of part of it, is that they do believe that we've fiddled things. We've gone to the Premier League and said this, that, the other, which wasn't true, and they can't prove it, but all they can do is, in the report, the commission says, we don't believe that they are reasons why you have gone over the threshold. We think it's because you've total mismanagement. When we've said we didn't get to sell the players that we wanted to, they say, well, it's not the Premier League's fault. You should have stuck to the rules. And same with all the other reasons. Same with all the other reasons. That's the bit that sticks with me, is because actually they don't really give eligible reasons, I don't think. And particularly with the 10 points. And like we said before, why 10 points?
There's no clarity in the whole.
There's not even an explanation. It actually says in the document as well, in terms of just on the contents page, it keeps saying quantification of sanctions and things like that. Quantification of breach, nature of the sanction, quantification of sanction, but it doesn't say why 1 point is something or 2 points is something. They've literally, between the three of them, they've just decided 10 points, just like that. For no quantifiable reason. They've literally just picked out 10 points. And like we said before, Portsmouth, back in the day, in the Premier League, because obviously lots of teams have had gone into administration in the Football League and lost loads of points from having to go through that. Portsmouth got that. I'm sure that is worse, surely, than us going, what they say is 19.5 million over a threshold. It's not even one player.
I mean, in all honesty, it's like what Baz said on Toffee TV. He pretty much pointed out and said you probably couldn't even get a bloody championship player for that nowadays. 19.5 million, 20 million.
Exactly.
Most of the bloody players nowadays,
inflation's stupid. We offered him 25.
I was just. It feels like. I was just going to say. It feels like the Premier League have got someone on the case that where they're saying you've got to show that you're serious and you've got to do your job properly, and then the Premier League have just thought, right, who are we dealing with? Let's just give them anything to make a point. And it feels like Everton's fan base is mad. They all bite. They go crazy. And if we give Everton a 10-point deduction and put them in the relegation zone, it would cause loads of social media on it and they'd take us seriously. And it looks like us, the Premier League, have frigging reacted and shown that we mean business. It just feels like that to me.
It does.
But it's had the adverse effect of what they're trying to do, because they've shown that they can't manage themselves because of their discrepancies in their own jurisdiction of how they deal with the breach of rules. It's like I say, if they'd have spoke to all the owners at the start and said, look, this is coming in, we want to show a united front. So whatever's happened previously with fines obviously hasn't worked because this is coming in. So these are the rules. And if you do this, this is what your point deduction. If you do this, that'll be a fine. But they haven't done any of it. This has just come solely out of the blue. And I think it probably puts the argument for it's just backfired on them.
Can I just point something out as well? Leicester City 2013-14 season broke FFP by 21 million in breach. Paid 3.1 million fine.
Disgusting.
You know what? Actually, I'd like to know who's on their independent commission. That'd be
that was paid. That was paid directly to the governing body. There was no independent.
Right, okay.
It was a settlement they made out of court, 3.1 million for a 24, and that was them getting promoted into the Premier League, and they broke financial fair play. Where surely you'd suspect it to be a lot more stringent before you're actually in the Premier League, because obviously your level of income, your sponsorship deals are a lot less desirable than when you're in the Premier League. I really shouldn't have my phone. I shouldn't be looking back over things because I'm just getting more and more ticked off. Just to go back on what you said, Paul, mate, I 100% understand what you're saying, because after reading that document, I thought, which is why I was so keen for you to send it me. I thought, if I read it, there'll be some form of clarity and I'll be able to go, do you know what? Fair enough. I don't agree with the 10 points, but at least I understand their reasoning behind it. So I implore anyone to read all 41 pages of that document. And the thing that got me the most was, you look at the bulk of the introduction of it, so the first 5 pages, then you look at the rest, which is all the evidence that Everton submit, which is a good, like 3-4 paragraphs long of evidence that are reasons as mitigating factors of why we believe, this money is, or the amount of where they're at. And then you look at their responses, they're about 3 lines. And then you look at the summary at the end of the sanction and the severity of the sanction, a paragraph each to explain it. And in neither of them do they actually fucking explain what the sanction's there for, what it's based on, and why it's fucking 10 points. And I'm sorry, until somebody comes to me and goes, right, you've got 10 points, it's a point for every 450,000 you're over the grace period threshold, and that's why you've got it. It's just it's and you know what? And I hate to quote him because he does have a lot of responsibility for us being where we're being at this moment. Bill Kenwright once famously said at Anfield at the Hillsborough thing that the son had took on the wrong mums and the wrong city when they tried to tarnish Liverpool Football Club for the Hillsborough disaster. Well, the Premier League, I can tell you now, you've took on the wrong set of fucking fans to try and do this to. And I solely believe that they've seen the form that we've got this season. They see that we're not struggling. They see that we've turned a corner, that we're starting to pick up points. We're starting to play better football. There are teams around us that are a fucking shower of shit. Because when you look at where we are in the league, we've got -3 goal difference. Every fucker around us has got like -16, -20. We don't fucking belong down there. We shouldn't be down there. And the reason why they've pushed it through and they've gone, yeah, go on, take fucking 10 points off them, is because they know we'll fucking piss a lot of them.
Oh yeah, we'll be out of there by Christmas.
You know what? I don't want anyone in the comments to think that that's me justifying what they've done and accepting, because I 100% will never accept what they've done, and I will never ever forgive the Premier League for what they've done. I hope we fucking piss every single one of them around us, and we piss all over the Premier League, and I hope we win the EFL Cup, and I hope we fucking give the absolute middle finger to the Premier League. I do not want us to do the handshake, play the Premier League music. I don't want any of our players doing any interviews for any of the Premier League fucking journalists. I don't want Dice answering any fucking questions in the press conference. I'm sorry, but Everton Football Club should not oblige by any requirements that the Premier League decide to put on us that we don't have to do. But that we do fuck them off.
Just a quick one, Will. We wouldn't be able to bottom 3. We'd be at the very precipice of the bottom 3. Because I think it's 5 points.
Yeah,
it is.
We was literally 3 points off 9th. I felt like
we were about to leapfrog fucking Chelsea of all people.
I felt like we was going to push for Europa League, and I'm not even joking there. I literally, with the way we was playing, teams like Brighton, we should have beat. We're beating West Ham. We're beating everybody in front of us, and the way we were playing and the way Sean Dyche has got us, I felt like we was pushing Europa League. And I get why some people say this is the season if we are to get 10 points, to have 10 points. But we shouldn't take on something we don't deserve. You can't just accept something. Oh, yeah, I'll just take a 10-year life sentence just for going to the shop and getting me milk. Don't worry. You know what I mean? I ain't got a missus, so I'll just take the sentence. It just doesn't make sense just because things are going for you. It's stupid. We should not accept that, and we need to stand up for ourselves and make sure we don't accept that. But we also, for me, this is what we'll kind of... Because the way I started this Toffee Bluecast is I always end it positive. I always do. Can't make you positive, but I'll try and put positivity in you. And that's the way we'll end this. We're coming up to 1 hour 6 and we'll end it in about 15, 20 minutes. But we always end it positive. But I started it off by just letting you lot just say how you feel and me saying how I feel and people in the comments, because you've got to get it off your chest with how corrupt this Premier League is. And there you go, corrupt. Is that corruption? Yeah. You've got to get it off your chest. And there you go, corrupt. There you go. You've got to get it off your chest how you feel. But if we got this last season, we're down. We got it the season before, we're down. This season, like you said, they probably gave it us for this reason, that we can handle the 10-point deduction, but we've still got to be at our best to handle this 10-point deduction. We've got to hope. The good thing is, if our fan base... And people won't like this because everyone rips the Everton fan base because they're jealous of us. But if our fan base was toxic, we'd start going at the owners now, which we should do at Mashiri, because we should be nowhere near that 105. I get that we was close and we should have got away with it, but our club should be run better to be nowhere near it and not give them the option of doing us like this. So if we was run better, we haven't gone against the owner. We haven't gone now. We could go at Mashiri. We could go toxic. We could split. Our fans could go crazy. We don't like each other, but we've united. That's what we've done, and we'll just get stronger. But it could have affected us. This could have, we're on good form now. This could have made our players shit. It could have made our fan base shit, and it could have made us get relegated. It could have. But luckily, Everton are Everton, and we'll pull together, and we'll get through this because we've done it the last 2 seasons. And we're stronger to do it this season. I think we'll be better this season and we'll get through it, but we shouldn't have to.
As well.
What's that, Paul?
I think we've got a better mentality under Dyche to do it as well.
Well, he's got us ready. Everything's happened perfect timing now, because I've said this. Some people are saying on Twitter now, we need to come together. We need to unite. And they're acting like something different needs to happen. Well, I'll tell you now, our players don't need to change because our players are playing like we need to stay up. They're already on it. Dyche has got them exactly how he needs it. Dyche doesn't need to change. And our fan base, if you listen to them that last game that we won, that was fucking amazing at Goodison Park. They don't need to change. All we need to do is just make sure that this doesn't affect us and do exactly what we've been doing the last 8 games, because we've won 6, drew 1, and lost a corruption game against Liverpool and lost against Luton. That's it. So we are smashing it now, and we're ready. And all we just need to do now is just make sure that this dickhead Premier League, what they've done, which is wrong, doesn't affect us. That's all we need to do, in my opinion. We just need to forget about it, move on. But like you've just said, Paul, and like you lot will think as well, we've been saying it on Toffee Bluecast. And I've said it all along. I said we've got to play. I've been saying it on Toffee Bluecast. We've got to play like we're going to get the 12-point deduction, because you've got to be 2 steps ahead in life. And I said that, and luckily we was, and we picked up these points. Because if we didn't, and we got that deduction, we'd be buggered now, honestly, because we're on 4 points now. And we played really well to pick up some points in the Premier League. Imagine what we'd be on if we didn't play well. if Dyche hadn't got us going. Because we didn't believe in Dyche at the start of the season, by the way. It could have gone wrong, but luckily Dyche has turned it around now, and he's got Everton. We just need to pull together. But what they've done is wrong. But I wouldn't, for me personally, I don't know what you lot think. I wouldn't act like when we try and get them on this and like take them to court on the 10-point deduction. I still think we'll get it. And I think we need to play like we're going to get it and just accept it. Not accept it. We still need to put the banners up and show that they are corrupt. But I just think we need to accept that we're going to get it because they're just idiots. That's what I think.
There's no way an appeal's going to change anything now. I just can't. I can't see it at all. I just can't see an appeal. There's actually nothing in the report about an appeal procedure. To be honest, that's going to be down to the Premier League, and they're obviously not going to go against it, are they? Not going to go against Premier League.
By Everton appealing it, they have to put in place a completely new independent panel to go through this case and see whether they believe under the appeals process what Everton have appealed for, whether the sanctions are too severe and whether they agree or not. And as far as I'm aware, the fact that the points have been immediately taken off us before an appeal process has been put in place, that's going to have to be completed before the season's over, because if that is found that when it should be when it's found, but obviously the words independent, impartial don't mean fuck all to this Premier League. So when this new group of 3 cunts come in and have a look at it and go, oh yeah, we see why you're appealing, yeah, we still don't agree with it, take your 10 points and fuck off. It has to be done by the end of the season, because they can't take the points away from us appeal and then it not be completed before the season's over. Because imagine they turn around and go, oh, do you know what, we feel 6 points would have been more fair as opposed to 10. Well, we'll have our 4 points back, dickhead. And
they won't swap it though. They'll look like idiots if they swap it. They won't keep playing around with
idiots
the
anyway.
I'm shocked I literally looked at the table straight away and I thought, I wonder if they've added it on Flash Score. And I looked at the table and I thought, we've got us there already on everything. We're literally in that league position as soon as that news come out, because I thought the news might come out and they'll go for a few stages to see whether they actually put us in that league position. They put us in that league position straight away. Everything Everton says, doing a short showing that we could go 9th with 3 points off 9th, cursed us. Well, one thing I do want to say that I never Everton. One thing I do want to say is,
my guy.
There you go. One thing I do want to say is, I was trying to get Europa League when I said we're 3 points off 9th. We're winning the EFL Cup, so we're getting Europa League no matter what.
Europa Cup.
Get your passports ready, guys.
If we win the EFL Cup, we get Europa League anyway. So yeah, exactly. So fuck them. We're gonna win the EFL Cup. I've seen who's in it, and they're all shit. I'll take you all of them on. I don't care. Don't care if you're listening. We'll take you on. So what we need to do now is we just need to make sure we stay up, win the EFL Cup, and when we lift the trophy up, the EFL Cup, we need to make sure we've got all those corruption banners that we're all paying for now, that we're all putting the money into. And when the lights are on us and the spotlight's on Everton when we win the EFL Cup, because put some fire in your belly now, because these have done this to us and attacked us like this, the Premier League. I hope our players are really angry and stand up for us. And if we win the EFL Cup and the spotlight's on us, then on the big stage, we show how mistreated that we've been. That's just what I want in my head now. I think we've got to knuckle down. When shit gets hard, you've got to knuckle down, and that's what we've got to do now.
To answer this one,
just answer the
fucking 3 cop-outs now.
Apparently, they've mentioned about the independent panel, and they've said they've announced the people that they're going to put on there. Apparently, it's going to be Mr. Blobby, Mr. B, and the Chuckle Brothers.
And you know what?
I reckon Mr. Bean would be all right with us.
I'd trust to get more of a fucking honest and independent fucking review from those fuckers than the 3 before. I'm sorry, questions have got to be made over the fucking over Nick Iger. And do you know what? That was 10 minutes of me going, do you know what? I know that fucking name from somewhere. And literally, I was talking to Paul at the time. I went, where do I know that name from? And I literally went on, typed it in, and I was like, you are fucking take the piss. How can somebody who has been found guilty of corruption in the past for something
That's what,
very, very
Jamie,
similar.
That's what they've done, Jamie. They've put someone that,
That's like-
that knows every little twist in corruption. They've got someone on there
why
that
is
knows
no
every
one
twist on
shouting it
corruption.
out at the fucking
So we've-
rooftops, mate?
It-
Why
it's
is
like
the club not?
That
If
is
he
honestly
thinks
like
that-
Jeffrey Dahmer being the judge of a murder trial.
Yeah, that's what I'm
It
saying.
is.
They put someone. Do you know where they get a? Do you know where they get a psycho to find a psycho in a film? They literally go and get a psycho in prison and say, "Can you tell me how this psycho's thinking?" That's what they've done with Everton. They've literally
think-
gone and they've gone and got someone that's corrupt and that knows all the little twists in corruption and said, "Where do you think Everton would try and do corruption deals?" And then he's had a look and he says, "Oh, I think they'd try
This
and
is what I
blag
would
it here,"
do.
and they can't prove it, and they've just saying, "Yeah, Everton would try and blag it there."
I haven't got the hair. I haven't got his hair. Lad.
Righty then. But just a very quick one. There's one that just came up before. Will Gregg made a good one, saying, "Do you think Dyche will come out swinging in the press conference?" The thing is,
No.
at the moment, because we've just seemed to have this whole, just basically, fucking, our back has become the target. If Dyche says anything about it, what they'll end up doing is making that justification to either fine us, make more, or give him a 3-match ban. Because if he turns around and goes, "Nah, I don't think it was 10-point deduction," and honestly, I think it's loads of rubbish. They will
This
probably
is a
turn around and
question-
say, "No,
this is a
you can't be
question to
saying
you
that.
lot, Luke.
You're a manager, not you're not a legal expert in regards to this."
This
Opinions
is
of
a
the
question
managers
to you,
are
lot. This
dead.
is a question from me. I always ask thick questions, but there's thick people out there will be thinking the same thing, so it's good to cover it. If we go and get fines now for say going against the Premier League, calling them out, if we got fines for that, and we got fines for like stuff that you've just said, then Luke, if we got fines, are we still in a financial situation where we really need to watch what we spend? We've just shown that.
I'm kind of curious what they're
stadium's still
going to
being
actually say
done.
regarding to the whole situation as a whole, because by that argument, have we just got a clean slate now? They've just given us that 10-point deduction. Are they going to now turn around and say, "Okay, so now you've basically got a clean slate now. Your financial record's now clean"? Because like if you had,
That's what
or
I'm
is
saying.
it one of them where they're going to say, now you're on thin ice. If you do anything out of alignment, we're probably going to double it. It's going to be 20
But that's-
points.
Are we do,
I don't
that's
think
105
anything's
that
changed.
you've just talked about, Paul? That 105 that you've just mentioned, we've been done for that for the year. Does it go on to the next year now, and we're building up another 105 that we could get
Every
before
3
we
years
get
it
fines
runs
because
out.
on that?
As far as I'm aware, it's financial year, isn't it? Because that's the year that we're being done
years
on.
ago.
Over 3-year
So-
period, isn't it? The 105,
Is it? So
which is the equivalent of 35 a year. So you could lose the 105 in the first year and break even for the next 2 years.
Mhm.
Yeah. But then I don't know, because like you say, next year, for example, if then they'd say we did something, they said that we did something similar again, and that includes the 2 years prior to that, it wouldn't surprise me if they did us again.
Yeah, they
Just
can't
think it's
because we
like
spent. They can't. We spent fuck all in fucking 4 transfer windows. So
Yeah.
you're not telling me that they can come back to us and go, "Oh, woo, look at your
I can tell you
accounts from
exactly
the
how much we
next
spent.
year."
I mean,
Get
the last
the
3
fuck-
transfer windows, we've been in profit.
Yeah, exactly.
We've made
So fuck them.
5 million profit 21-22, 21 million profit in 22-23, and so far we're in a 36 million pound profit for this year. We could technically spend 30 million and still be in profit.
I don't want to depress you, but we have still got Mopay to come back. We have still got Holgate to come back.
Who are they?
I'm just saying. I
Never heard of them
don't
before.
want to depress you.
Who are
but
they? Are they
that's
like chocolate bar
wages.
flavors or something?
Yeah,
In fairness,
that's
I think
wages.
Brentford
That's
might buy
wages that are
Mopay.
going to come back.
Uh,
Go on, Caswell.
I think
Yeah.
Brentford might buy Mopay.
They can fucking have him. We'll just scratch that off the fucking.
I think he
I can
suits
tell you
their-
100%
their
Holgate is
playstyle more.
not getting brought 100% because what they said about Holgate.
He had a man of the match performance for him the other night, mate.
Well, he best have
was
a
that,
lot more.
was that an
'cause I
actual
would
game or was
love
that just a
Holgate to
fever
go.
dream?
I don't know. I think I was fucking dreaming. But either
That
way,
was on FIFA.
Yeah,
Me
Yeah,
too.
bro.
no, it did. Apparently,
Not FIFA.
apparently their last game, he was man of the match. Apparently, he was their best player in the last game. So
Who's this for?
wouldn't hold your breath. Southampton. Yeah,
Then again,
apparently
you got bloody Tom Davies crashing and burning the Sheffield at the moment, isn't he?
he's fucking not played, has he?
Apparently, he's had minutes, but he's basically, the time he's been on, he's basically been their worst player.
Oh, fucking hell, now they understand where
I
we come from.
remember when people were going on about Tom Davies being championship quality. Even then, fucking hell, that's putting it in a stretch. I'd probably say bloody Conference League.
Yeah. It's just, it's a farce. We've got the shit end of the stick, and unfortunately, we were the easy target to do it to. I stand by what I said. I stand by what I said. They've picked the wrong fucking fan base to go out. They've picked the wrong fucking club.
This is the thing that makes me laugh. I mean, this is the third time we've had something like this happen. The first time being, does anyone ever remember the 6-second rule with Neville Southall?
Yeah,
When he got dealt with for that.
Away
he went
at
on
Forest.
about Umar Nias thing.
Yeah.
And now this. Because apparently now the Premier League have went and done this. They're going on trying to say, oh yeah, we're actually able to moderate ourselves. We're able to deal with any issues that happen within the Premier League. The way they went about it, though, they've just basically made the biggest announcement and said, actually, no, we're not a secure enough organization to moderate these 20 teams. We need an independent person. And when that independent person comes in and does all this, the whole thing around point removal will probably go out the window. It'll just become fines.
You know, when the independent
thing is, can I just pick out as well about the bit about us working with the Premier League, rightly or wrongly. Premier League's argument in the report is that they were when they were dealing with us and we were, working with them to tell them our finances. It wasn't so much that they were looking at all of our finances, and they actually dissolve themselves of any financial responsibility in terms of the club. What they do say is that when we were buying players, any transfers, we had to put to them first, and they would either reject it or approve it. I don't know which ones they rejected or approved, but we had to pass over any players that we were going to buy. So they were aware of monetary things going on. And I think one of our big things was that we said that we were going to sell player Y in the document, whoever it is. And we said, well, I'm not sure. I don't know if it is Richarlison for player Y.
No, it's not.
Sure.
It's not for player. It's not for player Y. It's someone they identified that they've not named.
Yeah, we said we were going to sell player Y for a big sale, and they think that although they're not accusing us of dishonesty, they think that we were never going to sell that player. And what we've said is that we really would have sold that player, but a reasonable offer didn't come in. So that's where the Premier League's involvement kind of comes in, is that we were telling them who we were going to buy, and then we were also saying who we were going to sell, but they don't believe that we ever really meant it.
They tried to distance themselves from the problem. That's what they've tried to do, Paul. They've tried to clean their hands of it to make out they've done fuck all. Fuck them. And just to go back to Dan's point, do you know with what's going to happen at Goodison Park at the weekend, do you really think we're not getting some form of fucking fine come through? It's going to be some form of, it's going to happen, mate. It's going to be some form of uncontrollable crowd clause or something to that effect. It's coming, and I know it's going to come. And do you know what? We'll do another go. We'll have around the pay the cunt off.
I can't believe that teams organised a Super League against the Premier League and did that, and they completely tried to. These teams tried to completely fuck over the Premier League, and the Premier League know that and did nothing.
Because they earn
nothing. Because they know that they need them and they lick their arse, don't they? That's why. Because they know
bankrupted them. The £3.5 million fine that they all got.
Should have made a point with that.
And they had to write an apology as well that we've never seen.
Oh, right.
We won
So
all
just
of
don't-
They just should have made a point with them, and it's a joke. I do feel this is going to continue, and we've done a live show tonight because I feel like when this is floating around, it popped in my head today, and you just like it goes in your head, and you think, what the fuck? Like Jamie turned into freaking Incredible Hulk, Hellboy, whoever you want to be, but we're all
I'll be calmer next time.
angry with it. Even you hear everybody, like you said Carragher, fair play, coming and backing us up. Nobody can't not back us up because 12 points for working with the Premier League is ridiculous. And only breaking it by that much and having valid reasons and working with the Premier League is a joke. I mean, you do the right thing and they just fucking kick you in the face. And that's what they've done to us, literally. We've done exactly the right thing. We've worked with them. And we feel like we're on track with them and we're okay and we're doing the right thing. And the Premier League's kind of gone, they've been friends with us and they've kind of gone, right, we don't give a shit about you. We're going to act like we don't know you no more. We're just going to give you a 10-point deduction. Wash your hands with you because once we give you this deduction, we don't need to freaking say anything more on it. And they've tried to make a point with us. But it's going to be hard, though. We do need to... I know what you're saying. We the way we're playing will be fine, but we have played some weaker teams. Like we could have beat Fulham, could have beat Wolves, should have beat Sheffield United. We could have had a lot more points on the board, by the way. People are acting like this is the perfect season for us, but we could have had a lot more. I reckon if they put it on us next season and told us it was going to happen before the season started, we would have been a lot more equipped from it. A positive is that there are some weak teams. I don't think I should say this, but there are some weak teams in the Premier League this season. I feel like stronger teams will come up next season. Like you'll get your Leicester and your Leeds and all that come back up. The Southampton come back up next season. Go on, Luke, fire away. Put your hand up, sir.
Here's the thing that I'm thinking right now is, let's say for argument's sake, we would have beat Fulham 1-0. We beat Wolves 1-0. We beat Sheffield 1-0. We got them 9 points. What's to say they wouldn't have turned around and says, actually, no, we're going to deduct more points as a result? Because I've got a feeling our points are reflected on how many. The point deduction was reflected on how many points we've got right now. And I think if we would have had 9 more points, they would have taken, instead of 10, it would have been close to 15 or even 20.
If we'd have lost at Palace, they wouldn't have took 10 points of us. They'd have had us equal. They'd have had us equal with fucking Burnley and put us in the position we're in. Fuck them. Anyone else got a feeling that at the weekend we're going to get a marginal VAR decision or a penalty decision potentially go our way?
Fernandez will fucking flop in the box, and it'll be one of them. It'll be Branthwaite getting a red card and a penalty. I bet you any money there'll be a perfect. It'll be one of them. Branthwaite will just take the ball off Fernandez and not even touch him. He will go down as if he's been shot. It'll be a penalty, a red card, and then they'll turn. And then PGMOL will fucking turn around and go, "Oh, we do apologise about that. We made a little oversight."
Oh no, they've changed the fucking rules.
Yeah. Someone was saying then that it didn't help the police didn't show up to the tribunal thing or whatever there was.
Yeah.
Apparently, she was in a headlock and she couldn't get there because of that. She was headlocked to the decision. They were holding her back like that. No, you can't go to this.
This is the thing, though. This is the thing, right? Some Everton fans, act shocked that people are going to rip us over this, right? If this happened to some other club, we'd be ripping them. We would. We're as bad. We would rip someone else now. If we just found out that Aston Villa or anyone had just got a point deduction on Twitter, we'd be ripping into them. We rip into people as much as they rip into us. So expect people to take the piss out of us. Expect people to rip into us. Expect people to say we're going to get relegated because they don't like us. They don't support Everton. We do. So they will rip into us. You've got to expect it. It's not a surprise. It's not like if someone says Everton are going down, you see a video saying someone's going down, we'd be doing the same. We'd be doing the same. So I wouldn't let it bore you too much. It's not true.
I can't wait for my final word, you know.
And I also think on what you just said, that comment you just said, Luke. I know, yeah, that comment you just said, Luke, the Denise thing, the way that Kenwright and Mashiri put all the blame on Denise and the other guy, they didn't need to stand and side up for us. I wouldn't. Would you have expected them to have turned up in a courtroom and carried on after getting sacked? Would you? I wouldn't have.
No.
No,
They're,
they're not.
they're
They're not
probably
going to.
staying
It's
as
no
far away from
surprise.
this whole thing as possible because we did essentially chase those two. We essentially chased the clowns out of the fucking club. They're not going to try and come and bloody defend us now. They're going to stay
Exactly.
as
They're
far
not,
away
but
as
then
possible.
Someone will. I'll put if a news journalist is listening to this now, they'll say the reason that Everton fans got 10-point deduction was because they got rid of Denise and the other guy. Otherwise, they wouldn't have got a 10-point deduction. It's all because of the fans. That's the way someone would twist it.
Speaking about journalists, I do hope that there's a journalist out there worth their salt who actually, after in like 2 weeks' time or something, when it's not being spread around on Sky Sports, there's someone out there who still actually goes to find out the story behind it. Do you know what I mean? To find those inaccuracies and also to compare them to other teams who are far and above more culprits than we are at having done this sort of thing. We accept that we made a breach, but what we don't accept are their reasons for dismissing our argument and also just blocking out 10 points out there. So if there's a journalist out there who is actually decent enough and like driven enough, willing to take on some of those top sides, then all praise to you and good luck to you, because I hope you actually succeed.
And we'll love it. Jamie, go on.
Yeah, the only thing I want to add to Paul is look at what we found out with 4 hours prep. Yeah. Look what we found out just from information that's been released in the document that they've released over the hearing. Look what I found. Look what Paul's found. Look at the inaccuracies that we've pointed out in this stream. You can say we're biased. Could give a shit. I'm the most fucking biased, bitter, and proud bastard you'll ever meet. I'm sorry. I have no experience when it comes to detective work or anything as such like that. It was a name.
Hold on, let me just stop you. I have just got a statement come in from the Premier League, a response. Carry on, 2 seconds.
He's a fucking. I knew that was coming. Do you know what? Before he even spoke, I knew that was coming. No, but honestly,
sorry, but that was brewing, and it was Premier League brewing it up for me. That is what the Premier League have said back to the reason that they have given us a 10-point deduction live on Toffee BLUECAST. You won't get that stuff anywhere else. Go on, Jamie, carry on.
No, literally, that's 4 hours prep, and the things that we found out in 4 hours. Do you know if a journalist who actually has scope within the field of actually getting information about this, I'm sorry, they could do a lot more damage than we could. And there's certain things that we found out just to show little bits of corruption and little levels of corruption that they've got. If someone was actually invested and got paid to do this and actually found the body, because you know what, if an independent part, if we do get an independent regulatory position put in place next season, and then they take point deductions away, there should be a shitstorm from Everton Football Club from that, because that's what happened. They'll completely get rid of any form of points deduction. It'll become fines. It'll be, as both Pauls have said, have a bit of clarity. If you overspend by this much, it'll be this amount. If you overspend by this much, it'll be this amount. That's what will happen, and that's what will come in place. I'm more than certain that'll happen. But this needs to be looked at properly. There's literally 4 hours prep. You messaged me, Dan, and you said, I'm going to go live tonight. And I told you, mate, there's no way you're going to be able to sit on something this big because the regulars will want to speak about it. Obviously, great to have Paul and Luke back on the channel as well. Always great to have them both. It's just, it's one of those things, mate. We couldn't keep quiet about this. I've had my 3 kids all night. I've cooked dinner, all 3 of them, cooked me and the missus dinner, mate. And I still sat there while I've done a nice little chicken Caesar salad. So I was just grilling the chicken and that. And I was going through that document that Paul sent me. And it's just, I implore anyone who's got any interest in this at all, just take 10 minutes of your day and read it, because you'll understand why my blood's boiling. I'm not usually this riled up, should I say, when we've come on post-match, pre-match, or done our game shows as such. I'm not usually like this, and I did put on Twitter, and I did solely apologise for the mood that I'm in and the profuse language that I was going to use during the stream. But I know how angry this has made me, and just reading the documents and reading what their actual reasoning behind it was, that they still haven't actually give clarity of what the reasoning or the justification for it is, which is what gets me. It just infuriated me more. So apologies for the way I've been tonight, my last words is going to be the worst of it all. So
that's what's coming. That's what's coming now. But that is what Toffee Bluecast is. It's literally I want people to come on. Like, this news has come out, and I want people to go on Toffee Bluecast and see how Everton fans feel. So I expect people to click this now, and you'll get a good hour and a half of good conversation, because Paul's put some cracking stuff on. Jamie, you have Luke, you said some cracking stuff, some facts. Paul Caswell, we've all said stuff. It's been intelligent, but it's also been heartfelt, because Everton is the club that we love, and it's gonna be emotion, because Everton have been attacked. And I've seen some good quotes today where you attack our club, we will react, and that's what's happened. And I don't want to do a channel of what people expect and just it to be a robotic channel. I want it to be raw, and I want it to be heartfelt. Everton fans, how we feel, and I feel like with all the personalities we've got on here, a lot will click with us. I hope they will anyway. And we've read your comments and we've been reading through them. Sorry if they haven't come on. We're always, if anyone else wants to come on, we'll probably end up doing another one of this, because this hasn't finished, has it? It's still going. No. We'll have to do another Diamond Dogs meeting and see how we all feel. Ooh. But I know, like they say, if you've got problems, talk. And this is a big problem, so it's good for us all to talk and share it. And you come away and you feel like you've said a lot of stuff off your chest that's really pissed you off, and you'll probably feel better about it. And you'll probably go off this stream now and have nothing to say about Everton, because you've got it off on the stream. And your partner will say, thank us for Toffee Bluecast for saying, thanks for not giving me all that crap. Thanks for Jamie not ranting all that to me. thanks for Paul Castle not telling me that.
No, honestly, do you know what? What you've just said is perfect, because I was trying to explain it to me missus, and she went, I'm happy to sit here and let you rant, but one, I don't give a shit, and two, I don't understand what you're talking about. So thank you for putting this on tonight, because I needed to speak to somebody.
It's just an Everton talking frigging group where we go on and we're all chatting shit, but we know what we're chatting because it's Everton. So we all come on and we all have a good get together. Right, this is last words now of Toffee Bluecast. Jamie, I've got a feeling yours ain't going to be words. It's going to be
leave me last.
It's going to be more than those 52 pages that Paul's pulled out. Right, we'll start with Paul. We'll go then Paul Caswell. We'll go Jamie. We'll go School of Science, and then we'll finish with Daniel.
Me.
Yeah. Who's first? Is it me? Is it me first?
Yeah, go on.
You, Fozzie.
Fire away.
Hold
on, let me just give you an answer. Paul Foster, go.
I feel
I did one of them. If you get to do it properly, you know what I mean? Paul Foster.
I do feel better that we've broken it down. I actually, even though I sort of read it and picked out the main bits, I now feel as though that we've been poorly treated without actual definitive evidence and reason for 10 points. I just don't see where that's come from. I just think it's been plucked out the air, and their justification for it is not clear cut. And I do believe that actually there's lots of circumstances that have caused us to be in this situation. It's not completely without culpability. We've been mismanaged. We have been led down a path where there's been lots of poor management decisions. However, the punishment doesn't fit the crime. And if this is our crime and it's on a par with other people who've committed similar and larger crimes, then their punishment has to be far larger. And if Premier League thinks as though it's just going to float away and disappear into the ether, they're wrong. because it's not just us for our sake. I tell you what, there's lots of clubs there who want to put the knife into City and want to put the knife into Chelsea. And I tell you, they're coming for you. They're gonna keep going on about it, and they're not gonna let it go. And eventually, Premier League is going to decide where they stand. Do they stand with the rest of the clubs in the Premier League, or are they just hinging on 2 or 3 clubs to pay all their bills? So we fight on. We play our game on Sunday. We stuff United, get out the 3, and then we start going up the league again.
I like that. A proper we're coming for you. Watch out. You know what I mean? They're going to get you as well. Cracking. But now I'm going to announce him. Here he is, the most positive Everton fan I've ever known, Paul Caswell.
Well, I'm known as Mrs. The Positive, so I want to end on a positive. Yes, we have been unfairly treated. However, it is United, the fan base, and if there's one manager who will want at our helm to get that siege mentality and have that us against the world, it's Dyche, and I think it will play into his hands. I can't wait to get Goodison next Sunday because United are for it. We will win. We'll be out the bottom 3. We will still challenge for Europe this year with the 10-point deduction, and we'll win our appeal. So this will only be good for us, but it is still unjust.
Paul Caswell being Paul Caswell, they love it. Now we have him. Some people call him Hulk, some people call him Hellboy, some people just call him a nutter. Jamie!
Put the mic down a bit.
Jamie!
Right. Great words from you both, by the way. This is no reflection on either of you two because I'm going to go the complete opposite way. I've got 2 points to point out. So the Premier League board currently comprises of a chair, 3 independent non-executive directors, and a chief exec. So first person, Alison Britton, CBE. She's the chairholder. Fuck you. May Fifield, independent non-executive director. Fuck you. Dharmesh Mistry, independent non-executive director. Fuck you. Matthew Ryder, KC, independent non-executive director. Fuck you. And Richard Masters, who is oddly enough the chief executive director. I wouldn't piss in your open mouth if you were on fire. Fuck you. Last thing I do want to say is, can anybody tell me the only club to have 4 points at this stage of the season, be in the relegation zone and survive?
And win a cup.
Everton Football Club in the 94-95 season that then went on to win the FA Cup. We'll do the same this season and we'll win the EFL Cup. Fuck the Premier League. Good night. I'm out.
Under my job, headphone drop.
7 Mile is there in the building. 8 Mile, 7 Mile. He didn't choke then. He went for it. Sorry for the language, but I suppose tonight it was always going to be something like this. Right. We are passing it on to, you know him. He's everywhere. He hasn't got his drone, but he's got his microphone. School of Science! Do you like my rhyming then?
You see, I've prepared a small little amount of information here. That's all to do with fucking mortgages and everything, so I wouldn't worry about that. Right. To be honest, to sum it all up, as we know, the fucking league's corrupt. They want to generate as much revenue as possible, so this is a nice little easy way for them to, you know, what's the name? Generate a nice little bit of clickbait over the course of Sky Sports, Talk Sport, just that general chitter-chatter. And then what I think will happen is Everton and Man U will still get televised, because that will be the biggest amount of eyeballs all around it, because everyone's going to be like, oh, what's going to happen at the stadium? What's going to happen? What are the Everton fans going to do? What are the United fans going to do? What are the officials going to do? What decisions are going to get made? It's all going to be just because they've rattled that cage so badly. We've basically got our backs up now. But the thing is, it's worked in our favour as well, just for the fact that the fans have never been more unified. When that game comes, Goodison Park is going to be the worst place for any opposition to come to for a very long time, because right now, Evertonians hate the rest of the league. They hate the Premier League and they hate every other one of the 19 teams in that consist of that league. So anyone who comes to that stadium better be fucking scared, because we are going to be taking legs. We are going to take everything. And I know for a fact those referees will go against us for the foreseeable, because they just hate us to the nth degree. And I don't even know why. Why do the FA despise Everton so much just because we're not one of the fucking golden boys? It's loads of bollocks, but as we say, up the fucking toffees, we're going to fucking batter everyone.
I love it. I love it. I want to have my microphone on that one. It's true. That's what I said. This is my speech as well, and this is what I say. We are passionate fans, and we are the best fans. We really are. We've got Everton in our DNA, and no one's going to side up for Everton more than us, because that's our love, that is. And you won't knock us down. You will not knock us down. We will stay positive, and I will make sure that we stay positive. It's a joke. It is a joke. I've got pop that up as well. But we are dogs of war. You see my dogs of war sign. We'll be all right. We'll stick together. Do you know what though? Honestly, I looked at those teams in the cup. You've got Everton against Fulham. Fulham, not scared of them. You've got who's the other one that's against Middlesbrough? Port Vale versus Middlesbrough, not scared of them. The Shite, they had to cheat to beat us, not scared of them. Newcastle, players injured left, right, and centre, not scared of them. Chelsea, not scared of them. We can win that cup. That's on my mind now. That win that cup, you know. Like, I really, really imagine us if we frigging won that cup now. That's on my mind. I think we need to focus on that.
They probably deduct it from us, cunts.
They'll probably frigging. They'll try, but they wouldn't be able to. Yeah, the likes are going up. Hit that subscribes and the likes on the Toffee BLUECAST.
On the film.
Let's just stay positive though. I honestly do believe we'll do a pre-match, but I believe we can beat United and beat Newcastle. But one thing I will say, and this is me not being positive for once, we need to make sure we stay who we was before this happened. That's one thing I will say, because we just found ourselves. We found good form. We can't let this dent us in any sort of way. It is corrupt, I agree. We can't let this dent us in any sort of way. We just need to stick together, because Man U is still a hard game and Newcastle still is a hard game. And we are on 4 points now. And if we do end up shit, we're in big, big frigging trouble. So we do need to make sure we rise to this. And we will, like Luke said, like Paul said, like all of us said. We can't help it. We always end up positive. We always go back positive. Yeah, I'm going to end it on that. We'll have another Diamond Dogs get together again. Rob will be on next time. Caswell, Diamond Dogs, what you got?
That's me, Mrs. Tell him to keep it down.
Right. This has been a crappy show.
Little chihuahua there for about.
Diamond Dogs, baby.
Oh,
Right.
oh, oh.
Oh, I like that. Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs of war out?
Doberman on steroids.
Who let the dogs of war out?
Deep diaphragm.
Yeah. Do you actually know the part? Can you actually sing that song? Who let the dogs out, Luke?
I only know the chorus. Who let the dogs out? That's it. I don't know the verses between.
They are lyrics.
We are finishing this, but we'll go along from Paul to Caswell to Jamie to Luke. One song now in your head. Lyrics.
That song was the definition of my dating life before I met my missus.
Paul,
I love you added that last little bit on there, Jamie.
Paul Foster, we need a song in your head to end it. What song you got in your head that you need now, just for this moment? What song?
Eye of the Tiger, baby. Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah, Eye of the Tiger.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Paul Caswell, what's yours?
I'd probably say that actually. It's a fight now, isn't it? So I'd probably say that one.
Jamie, what's your song?
Mine's a
get
Rocky
ready to
song.
rumble.
I'm trying to remember what the song is. It's I think it's Rocky 4 where he goes to fight Ivan Drago
Hearts
in
on
Russia.
fire.
Hearts on Fire, yeah, man.
Hearts on fire.
No. It's the one where it's is it East versus West or is it man against man? You know, where he's on the plane. Two worlds collide, rival nations. That one.
When yeah, I
It's
get it.
it's us against the fucking Russian Premier League cunts.
School of Science. What song you got, mate?
I haven't got a particular song title for it, but I've got a fucking chant that's coming to mind every time right now, and it's run, wherever you may be. We are the famous CFC. Fuck you, wherever you may be. We are the famous CFC.
Mine's that there's no easy way out. There's no fucking shortcut home. You know what I mean? The bastards, they're on to us. There's no easy way out. Get in the Lamborghini. Get the car on. Take a drive. Get your head straight. And let's smash this league and let's smash this cup. They ain't going to knock us down. They ain't going to knock. There's no easy way
shortcut home.
You can't win, Rocky. You can. Well, we can stay up and we can win the EFL Cup because we've got the best fans and our players are on it. And go and watch Jordan Pickford boxing as well on my frigging short.
We are like fucking Rocky, aren't we?
Well.
Premier League.
Right, I will drop the song now with the fans. Stay positive. You can't help it. Even if you get pissed off, you have to be positive just for Everton. It's like you've got to be positive for Everton. We've done it with 2 relegation battles, and we're better this season. We ain't going down. Trust me, we are not going down. I've looked at that table,
we'll do it, Blues.
And we're fine.
We'll do it together.
We'll do it. Let's stick together. The Toffee BLUECAST will be together before the games, after the games. School of Science, shout out to you with your channel. Keep hitting his channel. Like and subscribe. Amazing channel. Some cracking videos. Your last drone video was amazing, mate. You got the footage.
Came at a cost of the drone.
Well, you got the footage. The drone did the job, mate. So you've got to be thankful for that. And you'll have another one on track, I'm sure. You know what I mean? Your channel should just freaking go and get your drone, get you on it. You know what I mean? Save the drone. Set up a GoFundMe for the drone.
500 quid for a drone nowadays. But we're working on it.
You've got plenty of subs. You know what I mean? Right, here we go. Yeah. Dropping the song, dropping the banner. Thanks everyone for coming on tonight.
Thanks everybody.
Show. Like and subscribe. Let's do this.